Hey everyone, welcome back to the second installment of Being Proficient in Excel. I decided to make a few more videos so I'm going to have more videos instead of longer videos. The reason being, some of these concepts are actually quite complicated and you'll need to play the video back 2 or 3 times to really get the hang of it. And I want to make sure you have this stuff under your belt, because every time we move forward to another video, you're going to need the stuff before it. So in this video, the only thing I really want to cover is the pulling data, and we're going to use a function called index. So open your workbook that you previously had. Will be in the data tab. What I'm going to do is first show you how index works, and I'm going to show you how with any table we can use it, and then I'm going to go and show you how we're going to use it with our data, and then I'll show you some tips and tricks with it. So let's take a basic example. So imagine we had a set of data. So here's a set of data that I just made. It has 3 rows and 3 columns. These are the column headers, these are the row headers, and this is your data. You usually want to pull data from the matrix here based on a row and a column. So for example, if I said, what's in column 2, row 2? You'd say 5. And if I said, okay, what's in column 1, row 3? You'd say 3. And how are you doing that? What you're doing is you're looking in the column and seeing where it intersects with the row. Now, index does the literal exact same thing. You're first going to tell it, hey, where's all the data? You're going to say right here. Then you're going to say what row and what column. And that's it. So I'll show you another trick right now. If you just put a quotation mark before an apostrophe before what you type, it will take it to be text. So if I type index like this, it's just text. Whereas if I typed index as a formula, it'll error out. So I'll use that to show you guys how we're going to be putting our data into index. So what index says is index, you're going to put in the full set of data. Then you're going to put in the row and then the column. And that's it. That's really all you're going to do. So let's try it out. Index, it says here array, that's our full set of data. So let's highlight all the data. Got it all right there. Comma, our row. Okay, let's pick row 2, so let's put a 2. And our column, let's pick column 3. What should this give us? It should be 8, and it is. So really all index does is taking from a row and a column and pulling a value for you. And this is very important. Sometimes your column headers have actual meaning to them. So this may be red, blue, green, and this may be 10, 20, 30. And you may say, oh, I want to know how many blue items we have that cost $10. So it'll be 4. And what you're really doing is you're looking in a column and a row and pulling a value. So that's the practical application for it. Now, the next thing we're going to do is use the match function. So let me first explain to you how the match function works. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to have a list of, let's say, numbers. It could be anything. Let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually, that might be confusing. Let's do 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. Okay. So here we have a list of numbers. What match says is it says, okay, give me a value to look for. Tell me where to look for it. And that 0 at the end can either be a 0 or a 1. 0 means look for the exact value you specify, and a 1 means kind of take your best guess. So we're always going to use 0. You should never use a 1. So really, you're only putting 2 things into a match function. Tell it what to look for and where to look for it. Well, that looks really easy. For example, if I say match, let's look up the number 50 in this list, what do you think the answer should be? It should be 3. Because what match is doing is it's going to the list and it's telling you in which cell or which order is the number that you looked up. So we looked up the number 50 in this list. Similarly, we can look up in this list. Let's look up the number 7 in this array here, and it's also 3. So with match and index, what you're going to have is 2 useful tools. Index is going to be able to pull the value for you, and match is going to be able to find out where the value is. So let's make this a real-life problem so we can kind of see where it's going. So instead of column headers, let's put colors: red, blue, green. And I think practical examples are actually the easiest. And this will be cost, right? So this will be like 10, 20, 30, and this will be dollars, right? So let's just put dollars here. Okay. So let's say somebody comes to you and they say, hey, in this cell right here, for whatever reason, I want you to tell me how many blue items do we have that cost $30? That's what I want to know, in this cell right here. Okay, well, let's look first. How many blue items do we have that cost $30? We have 6. Okay, so this should be 6. So, I'm going to do this one time and step you through it rather quickly and then go through again slowly. We're going to index. The first thing we're going to do is get all of our data. Alright, we got it. Now, the row. We can't just pick row number 3. We want to pick off of the values that we have in the row headers. So let's click here since we have it here. 30. Oh, my mistake. So, okay, it's a little confusing here. You're going to have to match. So what index does is it's asking you which row are you going to use. The row numbers are here. 1, 2, 3. And if you knew you wanted row 3, you can just type a 3. But often you don't know which row you want, because this value could change. Right now it's 30, but let's say tomorrow it becomes 20. Well, then you need to change your whole formula. So what you're going to do is you're going to match on that. So you're going to index the whole array, comma. Now for the row, we're going to match. We're going to match the lookup value. We're going to look up the 20. Now our lookup array is going to be here, the row headers, comma 0. And then we're going to match the column the exact same way. We're going to look up blue in the colors as 0. We're done. It's a 5. You might say, well, why did you do this? That looks kind of complicated. I mean, I already know it's a third row. Well, now your workbook is considered dynamic. Well, what does that mean? That means that if you come in here and you put a 10, it changes instantly. You put a 30, changes. Type red, changes. So it is perfect for you now. So this is an example of an index match, and from now on I'll be referring it to as an index match. So once again, let's try to go through and write it out one more time, and I'll go much slower this time because this is the concept that you're going to need to have down pat. Alright, so let's do it one more time. Alright, here we go. Index. First, get the whole array. Got it. Now we need the row. So we're going to use a match on the row. And when you match, the first thing you need is the lookup value. So let's look up this 10. Then we need the lookup array. So this is the list where the 10 is. So the 10 is in this list. So let's grab the list. Comma 0 because we want it exactly. Then we're going to match for the column. Now we're going to look up value, so we'll look up blue. We're going to look up where blue is in the list, which is the column headers, and a 0. We're done. So the index match is probably going to be one of the most powerful things you do in Excel. So now that you have learned how to use the index match, I need you to practice this a few times. So make some dummy data, such as I did, and practice writing this formula. You need to have this down pat before we go on to the next section. The next section we'll be doing a few different totaling with sums and counts, and then we'll move on to actually pulling some analysis together. So thanks for watching.